Persona 5 has hit mostly negative on Steam and then was removed? Why was it removed? It was removed because they didn't want to foster a toxic environment? Are you serious? The mod team decided, oh hey, yeah, let's talk about the horrible state the game is in, how everyone over on Steam right now is leaving negative reviews to the point where the game is hit mostly negative on Steam, and then they decide, let's remove it because it's fostering a toxic environment. What? Dude, their own moderators are censoring their subreddit because of toxicity? Seriously. Toxicity. No, what this is people are upset they are being treated like second-class citizens, that Sega is ruining a really good game for global, and that anyone that actually wants to play the game have to go play the Chinese version because the Chinese version is the only decent version of the game. That's unreal. It's a fact though. It is a fact, 100%. People are definitely being toxic in it, but silencing criticism just because people might be getting upset is a type of censorship that we'd expect out of China, not out of a global subreddit. Let's see, okay, let's look though, and see if there is any actual genuine or toxicity. All right, good. I was insanely excited for this game. They fucked it. There you go. That's got to be toxic, right? What pisses me off is that they had the easiest slam dunk in gacha history. They literally had the previous versions as reference and the strength and impact of the Persona franchise. Obviously, they weren't going to start global exactly where China is right now, but for God's sake, just follow the exact same format and roadmap that China had without changing anything. It is that fucking simple. We wouldn't have gotten one of the best gacha games in the market, but Sega, as usual, said screw doing that, and they prioritize short-term profit instead by accelerating the ever-living shit out of the schedule, which is good, without compensating whatsoever, which is bad. Which completely offsets it, and instead it makes it horrendously bad. Plus numerous other idiotic decisions they took, which we've actually covered over the course of like the last month or two, because they have been shitting the bed, chat. It has been leaking everywhere. They went to Taco Bell like a week straight for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they left streaks from the front door all the way up to their bedroom. This was exactly what I was constantly worried about and hoped would not happen, but here we are with probably the worst possible situation that can happen. Reached a point where I can't even be mad anymore. I'm just so disappointed. Instead of a slam dunk, we got Subway slammed. 100% same is what I say about it. Such an easy IP to get a kickstart. Yeah, it is. It was so easy to be a successful game, and Sega, in their infinite stupidity, ruined it. God damn, man. Good thing I left Persona 5. Yeah, it is. Okay, so evidently, you know, that is incredibly toxic. Let's see how much further it devolves. Hopefully this causes them to take notice. Yep. Heaven Burns Red, which recently received some very negative changes that upset most players. It caused it to drop down to just 4% positive reviews on Steam. That's insane. But not at all negative, not at all, sorry, toxic. Surely they'll take notice and course correct, right? They aren't gonna mess up what would be a simple and easy fix, right? I mean, this is Sega we're talking about. Sitting at 1.8 on Google Play Store. Is it back down to 1.8? Wait, it boosted to okay, because it did boost to 2.2 stars about a week ago, and it's back down to 1.9. Like, come on, that's like they just can't consistently get above 2 stars. They just cannot. It doesn't matter how hard they try, they just cannot get above 2 stars. Okay, what's it looking like on Steam? Oh, damn, 33% positive. So, ooh. Dude, that's wild. 4,000 negative reviews. What are show the graph? Oh my God. Look at this graph. That is insane. So chat, this is the exact opposite of what you want your game to look like. The exact opposite. What you want. So this right here, these lines you see here, these are the lines you want to be blue. These are not the lines you want to be red. As a developer or a publisher, when you see these lines red to this magnitude, you say, oh, maybe we're doing something wrong. I wonder what we could do better. But no, that's not what Sega decided to do. What Sega decided to do was, oh, you see those lines? If we ignore them long enough, if we ignore them long enough, they won't matter. Before we go any further, I do want to take a moment here to thank all of my incredible patrons over on Patreon and my YouTube channel members who allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are absolutely phenomenal, and I genuinely cannot thank you all enough for the support. Maybe they'll shrink, and it did. It got, you know, over time, it reduced in negative reviews until it didn't, and then it started all over again towards the right. It's like No Man's Sky. I doubt this one will live long enough to fix it. That is unfortunately a genuine and correct statement. I think this is gonna die before they get the chance. Look at this, not recommended after 225 hours, 110 hours, not recommended, 45 hours, not recommended, 40 hours, not recommended, 170 hours, not recommended, not recommended, not recommended, not recommended, not, it just, this is how you fast track killing your game. Like genuinely, this is how you take a phenomenal game and then you shoot it in the head. That is how you do it. Thanks for the update, this is deserved. It's a shame as the game had so much potential. It really did, and I've stated that repeatedly. I'm genuinely impressed. I think it's actually hard to destroy a free money printer like Persona 5. That is true. Yep. And here, the OP posted the removal response. Here it is, as expected, clown face emoji chat. Clown face emoji. I think that perfectly summarizes the moderators of this subreddit. Edinburgh's Red already has corrections apology, which is what we're gonna go ahead and take a look at in a minute, yeah. Is a Chinese server like this? No, it's not at all. The Chinese server is well regarded. The Chinese devs actually listen to the community, and the Chinese version overall is just genuinely a good, fun game, which is why people are so upset, because that should have been this too. All Sega needed to do was go, okay, let's just make everything English. That's all they needed to do. Let's just make the game English, and then global will be equally as well received as China. But they're like, no, let's change so many different things. Let's change so many different things. It's actually better than global. Yeah, China is a lot better than global. I've been enjoying it free to play. Hope the management gets its shit together. Yep. Okay, so all these are actually just, none of these are toxic, man. Deserved. That's just the last 30 days. It shows how bad they fucked the game with 1.1 and 1.2. What's crazy is that Persona 5 sold over twice as many copies as even the most popular Fire Emblem game, and yet Fire Emblem Heroes keeps chugging along with while Persona 5 Phantom X probably has like 2 years max. Can't wait for the next live stream where they further explain their greed. Unfortunately, it's deserved. Honestly, good. Treat your fans like shit and reap what you sow. So nothing here makes me think that it's, so what was their claim? Derail conversation, which is something I have not seen out of dozens of comments, and they foster a toxic environment, which is just not true. That was not a toxic environment. That was people expressing their disdain, disgust, and discontent with the state of the game and how they all wanted the game to improve. That is it. What I feel like this is right here. So this is the Persona Phantom X mod team. So what I'm assuming is, while there are genuine, legitimate human beings here as moderators, what happened is Sega is probably also moderating this and either force them to remove threads that might paint their company and the game in a negative light, or they just decided to do it themselves. Either way, this is censorship when all people want, all players want, is a better game, and they're not getting it. How Reddit mods are memed on to death. That is true. You know how, you know our subreddit? We only have a couple moderators, and we're all inclusive. You can shit talk any game you want, but also you can glaze any game you want, absolutely no problem. We're completely unbiased. We're awesome like that. Fanbase is at the point where they don't care if the game crashes and burns. This is the death of the community around the game. Yep, you're not wrong. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.